Let me introduce you to the newest chatterbait from Z-Man. This is the Tungsten Evo Chatterbait Elite. This thing is beautiful. All right, so let's get the details out of the way. This is not a sponsorship thing. I'm friends with the guys over at Z-Man. They sent me 3 tungsten chatterbaits to mess around with and to do an intro video. So that's what this is, an intro video. So let's start out with what I want to do with these. I want to take them, put them on a rod, throw them out, see what the differences are, immediate differences are in just how they work. A chatterbait's one of my favorite baits to throw. I throw them just about every day. Catch a ton of fish on them, so I got quite a bit of experience on them. I want to take it and I want to compare it to the jackhammer and to the original Evo sound and feel and everything like that. So let me get it rigged up, get a couple of other jackhammers rigged up on other rods, and let's have some fun. All right, so I've got 3 colors. I got a green pumpkin, got a black and a blue, I got a white. I'm on Guntersville right now. It's early fall and the bass are only thinking about shad. So I'm gonna throw a white one on, plus it can be seen better in the water. Okay, first of all, let's look at it. It's got a stainless steel blade. And if the blade is anything like the other Evo, these things maintain their chrome and everything else a lot longer than the jackhammer from my own experience. It's got these little ears on the head, and what that does is it gives you more of a flat surface, so when you bring it over something like a stick or a hard piece of grass, it doesn't roll over and get hung up quite as easy. It will, because I've done it, but anyway, it won't do it quite as easy. The keeper is one of my favorite things. This right here, this is where I put my super glue, and it holds your Z-Man trailers on there forever. Plus it's got that little hook right there to also keep them on there. You know, other trailers I'll use, you know, like Yamamoto Zakos and stuff like that. They work just fine, and then they'll last for a long, long time on this thing. I just love being able to glue that and keep it on there. The hook is a lot different and a lot harder to get that stupid little plastic thing off of it. Hook comes out pretty sharp. It's a good stout hook. It's going to be able to hold up to hook sets and all the ripping and crazy things I do with a jackhammer. So let's tie it on, take a look at it. All right, so typically I'm going to throw a 3/8 ounce or 1/2 ounce jackhammer on a medium heavy moderate rod, 15 to 17 pound test fluorocarbon. I am ripping chatterbaits through heavy milfoil right now here on Guntersville, and it requires a lot more backbone than a medium heavy moderate would give me. So I'm actually throwing it on my jig rod, which is a medium heavy fast rod, or extra fast. It's a Carolina rig rod. And the reel I use is always a 7-speed reel. I don't care what number comes after 7, as long as it says 7. So I'm always throwing it on a 7-speed reel. And then the trailers that I'm going to use are either going to be a Zako, I love a Zako, or some type of a diesel minnow and stuff like that. So let me dig out, see what I've got behind me. So when I'm throwing a white Evo, or no, a white chatterbait, any white chatterbait, I've got a few favorite colors. And I'm not saying these are the end all and save all and everything else, just confidence colors that I have. One of them is comes in the diesel minnow, and also the smaller one. I can't remember what the name of it is, but it is Slim Shady is what it's called. And it's just a white one. It's got some glitter in it. Just a really good color for throwing a white chatterbait. And it's not just all white. So I found that out accidentally. But anyway, so what I do is I put it on about like that, grab my super glue. Got the old Flex Seal super glue. It was on sale at Home Depot, so I grabbed it. It's like $3, man. So grabbed it. Just throw a little bit, one little drop right there is all it needs. And then slide it over top. And that's it, just like that. A lot of people turn that boot tail upside down. I do sometimes I don't. I don't really care. I haven't really noticed the difference between the two. It just works. So anyway, all right, got a little super glue on my fingers, of course. Let's do it. So one thing a chatterbait is known for is the startup rate or startup speed. And that's because you're able to, with these, the blade is connected directly to the head. And so you don't have a swivel or a split ring or anything else there. And it actually allows that blade to start up a lot faster and at a lot slower speeds. And that's critical for me in the way I typically fish a chatterbait. So let's see if it does it. Cast it out. Hopefully I'm not in a wad of grass. I might be. But I'm going to slowly bring my reel up here so you guys can see it. I'm just gonna, well, let's rip it out of the grass. Oh, wow. And so what it allows you to do is even at the slowest speeds, that blade vibrates, okay? Until you get eelgrass on it. And so I'm able to just slowly work it through it. And one of my favorite ways to fish a chatterbait, mainly in lakes that have no grass, is to slow roll it. So a chatterbait works really good when you start bumping into things, and lakes that have no grass, have no cover, stuff like that, or areas that don't have any cover like hard points, you need to be bumping into something. So I found that if you cast it out, let it sink to the bottom, and then slowly reel it back to where you just feel the blade, but if you stop, it immediately hits the bottom. So you're just barely off the bottom. That blade and the turbulence behind it kicks up the silt, really attracts a bass, and I have caught tons and tons of giant bass doing that, just slow rolling it as slow as you can. I've made multiple videos about it. And then the other one is, my other favorite way is to rip it through the grass, which is what I'm doing here. You get it hung up in the grass and rip it and then kill it and let it fall back down, or you yo-yo it and jerk it up out of there. Really, really aggressive, especially when they're stuck in the middle of all this thick grass like they are here in Guntersville. So that's two ways. But it's really nice to be able to have one that, you know, just like the jackhammer, just like the other Evo, it starts up immediately, okay? So the other thing I want to see is, does it roll? And this mainly has to do with the trailer, really, but how does it burn, okay? And let me see if I can get this on this back camera. I might be able to. Hold on a second. Let's readjust it. All right, let's see if I can get it. So one thing that they told me at iCast when they showed me this was that when you burn it, it does not roll. A lot of chatterbaits, even the jackhammer will. If you burn it fast enough, it will start to roll. So like I said, I got a 7:5 to 1 gear ratio reel. I'm gonna throw it out there and I'm just gonna start burning it. And they said that it doesn't roll. Nope, it doesn't. It doesn't roll at all. I don't know if I got that on that back camera, but maybe I did. There's a little bit of hunting action. It'll jerk back and forth just a little bit, but no roll at all, which is pretty cool. All right, so contrary to popular belief, a jackhammer, unless you buy the JDM tungsten jackhammer, a jackhammer is not made out of tungsten, okay? So your sound is going to be different with the jackhammer, you know, compared to this tungsten one, or with the Evo compared to this tungsten one. So it's just gonna be different. But I do wanna drop it down in the water, put a camera in there, and get it to where you guys can hear the difference in the sound. So I'm gonna start off with the jackhammer, and then I'm gonna go to this one, and then I'm gonna go to the Evo, and then I'm gonna go back to this one, and we'll go from there. All right, this is not an easy thing to do. So I'm just glad I've got this motor on the front of my kayak. Let's get it going at about 2.5 miles an hour. All right, so let's start off with the jackhammer. All right, now the new tungsten Evo. Let's get this sucker going. Guys, this isn't easy to do. All right, now we're gonna go with the original Evo. All right, so hopefully you guys were able to hear the difference. There's an obvious, just from listening to the audio from the camera, there's an obvious difference. A little bit higher pitched on the tungsten, kind of what you expected. Same blade, stainless steel, everything else, but just a different sound. And a lot of times that sound is the difference. So last but not least, let's see if I can catch a fish on it. I've been in worse situations. Oh. All right, let's get tucked up in this corner real quick. All right, so as I'm trying to catch fish on this, let's talk about kind of my opinion on this whole thing. I like new sound. I like something new. I like the fact that, you know, the bass are going to see something they haven't seen before. And believe me, I know they've seen 1,000 jackhammers and 1,000 other chatterbaits. And gosh almighty, at least for me. I mean, but so what I love about the Evo is, one, it's less expensive. And I really enjoy that. You know, the original Evo is less expensive. I'm not sure what the retail price is going to be on this. I'll put it down in the description along with a link to Tackle Warehouse to get this and everything else. But another thing I like is that I love the little ears on it that keep it from rolling as easy. An additional thing you can do to that when you're fishing a chatterbait in brush piles and along trees and things like that is you can use a beaver style bait, something with a flat body, and just make it lay flat. And what'll happen is that that'll also keep it from rolling over and you can get it through cover a little bit better. I love that it starts up during slow speeds. I mean, that's going to be key for me in the way that I fish it most of the time. Super slow, that kind of stuff. You know, and I talked about the little spot I used to glue the trailers on. And what that does, it just makes them last more fish. You know, the Yamamoto Seiko is one of those that if you don't glue it on there, and if you're fishing it super aggressive, it's going to last maybe 2 fish. But if you glue it on there, it will last 10, 15 fish. It's amazing. Of course, when you're using Z-Man soft plastics, they'll last indefinitely until they completely get destroyed. I don't know how many fish, 20, 30, 40, 50. But very hard to destroy that Elastec anyway. So another thing I like is the different sized heads. Okay, so a 3/8 ounce head. Let me show you one real quick. Let me get it in. So you're looking at a little bit smaller. I don't know if I can show you this without the skirt getting in the way. But, you know, a little bit smaller head with the Evo than the jackhammer. I love how the 3/8 ounces, you know, marked on there and you can see it really well. You can just barely see the one on here. But the difference in the size is just a little bit. And whether that makes a difference or not, I don't know. But it's tungsten, so it's smaller. There's one. Good gosh, right at the boat. Get in here. Sweetness. Goodness gracious. I knew I didn't have the hook set good enough. He bit right at the boat. Bam! Look how yellow that bass is. Goodness gracious. Well, I don't think I'm going to untie or cut this one off today. I think I'm going to keep fishing with it, but goodness gracious. The new Tungsten Evo from Z-Man. It works. No surprise there. But hope you guys enjoyed this video. Be sure to check out all my other ones on my YouTube channel, and you know, go over to TikTok, check out my TikTok lives. I'm starting to live stream from this kayak, but I'd like to thank Z-Man for sending me these baits and letting me be one of the first ones to play around and catch fish on them. I really do appreciate it. But like I always say, be sure to introduce somebody to fishing. Introduce them to my channel. Let me help you teach them how to fish. More importantly, get out of the water, go ahead and catch some fish, and have a great day. We'll see you.